Okay, great. So welcome everybody. Today we'll be starting with demos by David.
Yep. Okay, we're going to start with issue number 11. So whenever you are ready, who is going to present first the functionality? Edima or Fatima?
Okay. I'll explain the code. Edema will do the demo.
Yeah, but we should do the demo first, then the code.
Okay, I think Edema can go first then.
Yeah, I think we'll go first. Okay, let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so let me just go to GitHub, please, so that I can just walk through the our acceptance criteria.
You can go, Edema, you can go with the, you are in the project,
Okay.
maybe you can go to the issues that is going to be.
I think I can see it from here. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so our existing way to create a functionality that's to enable a user to be able to delete items from the shopping list. Like in case an item is you don't have need for that item again. So whether it is cluttering or that you just decide to change your mind, so you can easily delete the item from the list. So this is just we just create a UI that will enable, like a button that will enable the user to be able to click and delete the item. So once the user clicks on that, it should be able to prompt the user to confirm that he really wants to delete the item, so that there will not be any accidental, the user will not accidentally delete an item from the list. So once the item is deleted, it is removed from the list, and like it is no longer in use. So the component has to re-render, and also it has to be removed from Firestore. So it means that it is completely deleted. So this, for instance, if we have a list like this, so we have a button here. So once a user clicks on this button, so we just have a prompt like this: are you sure you want to delete this item from the list? So the user cancels, nothing will happen. So, but if the user clicks OK, the item is deleted from the list. So you can see that one is gone. So let me just open. All right, so this is our database. So once that item, I think this is the list that I had, this particular list. So we have 3 items here. So that one I deleted as gone. So let me delete another item. For instance, let me delete this butter. So let me take it off from. So once you click delete, are you sure you want to delete the item from the list? Okay. So it has gone. So it is no longer in the list again. So it's just a functionality just. So maybe there is anything.
Okay, great. So let's go through the code.
Okay.
Fatima.
Yeah. You need to stop sharing.
Yeah, is there any question, by the way, from anyone?
Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. So the code changes that we have, we first of all add the delete button, and we restyle the way it's positioned so that the delete button is going to be at the extreme end like it was. Then we added class name, and we are trying to target the event, the click event, and we added this functionality, undo delete. Then we have a parameter that we are inputting, which is the unique identifier for each item. And the unique identifier is the item name. So we are trying to target individual item based on their item name. So the functionality is up here. Okay, so it's up here. So we are passing the ID parameter. Inside the function, we are trying to confirm if the user really wants to delete by using this window.confirm. So we passed in this string here that are you sure you want to delete? Then we are now checking with this condition that if this confirm is true, that is, if they click on OK, there's going to be a filter that is going to look through all the items, and it's going to run this condition and check. Then on returning, it's going to return the ones that is not related to the ID that you clicked. So that's what this line is doing here. Then after that, we updated the item so that we'll get the filtered one, the remaining items, apart from the one that was deleted. Then after that, we updated it inside the Firestore with this line of code, update doc here. So those are the changes that we made to make it function. That's the undo delete list function. That's what it's doing. Then we also updated the styling just to make it look okay. So we added there is this class name that was here, delete list. So we styled it and give it that color with this class name. So it was targeted with this class name and given that color. Then there is other thing that we did as well. So we removed the custom filter and separate it, like it's inside all the other components, not inside a separate folder the way it was the last time. So those are the changes we made to the code for our issue. Any question?
I just wanted to make a comment where you, I think the function was named handle the delete, something like that, where you handle delete list. since you passed the item name, I think it would be a good idea to also include it in the string. So instead of saying this item, are you sure you want to delete bread?
The particular item, the name of the particular item.
Yeah, that would be good because so the user doesn't get confused and they're sure deleting that item.
Yes.
Yeah, this could be an improvement. It's not necessary for now.
Yeah, we'll update that. Thank you for that.
So I have a question, not a question, a curiosity. Have you used the array filter before? It's great that you have used that. So did you have trouble using it?
No, the only
Okay.
trouble we had was updating. So Dana helped out with that. Like initially, it was just deleting from the interface. So when the user reloads, all the items will still pop up, including the one that was deleted. So it's because it was not deleted in the database. So that was what this code is now doing here, the update doc, just to update the document in the database with the remaining items. So that was the only challenge, and Dana helped out with that.
Right. Perfect. So if anyone has more questions, we can go to the next issue. So number 12. Then our Hayu, who is going to present?
Yeah, I'm gonna present like the how the user see, and while Dana will present the code later on. Let me share my screen. Okay. So I'm gonna go through the acceptance criteria first. So the items in the list are shown visually distinct with different background color based on soon, kind of soon, not soon, or inactive. An item should be sorted by estimated number of days until the next purchase. Items with the same number of estimated days until next purchase should be sorted alphabetically, and items in the different states should be described distinctly when read by a screen reader. So I have an example here where a list of items. You can see with the color here, the apples, bananas, and beer and chocolate are red. That means that these items are inactive. They have at least one purchase, or the last purchase is ×2, so it's already outdated. And then with the yellow is the soon, sorry, the not too soon. What is the the kind of soon, and then it's soon, and then not too soon. And we also have the area label for that. Like for example, if we click on peaches, and then we have here area label by peaches every 7 days. So that's how this works for our issue. And then next, Dana will take it from here.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions on the acceptance criteria so far? Because it's a bit weird this week. We had a lot of discussions about it. I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
I'm just curious if the sorting works correctly.
Yeah, sorting is it's a bit weird because we had just added 2 items, inactive items, and they seem to be sorting themselves okay to the bottom of the list. So I'm beginning to wonder if it has to do with it shouldn't it shouldn't have anything to do with it that you put it before, because the data should be the same, but I'm beginning to doubt my sanity anyway. So I will share with you guys the code, and we'll see what's going on. So the idea is that sorry, let me just share my screen. Okay, so all right. So the idea is that we sort the items I guess on a sort of a top level, we sort them by active and inactive, and the active ones should always go on top, and the more inactive ones should go at the bottom, and the active ones should be sorted by a date before anything else. So the date, what we used is this estimated purchase interval. So we're sorting based on that integer, and what determines whether an item is active versus inactive is going to be based on two things: whether there is an estimated purchase interval available. So if there's 0 estimated purchase interval, it means the item has only been purchased less than 2 times. So 0 times or 1 time. And then I'm going to return. So this is a Boolean. It's going to return a Boolean value. So it's going to return false. If that's the case, then we already know it's inactive. In the other case, when we determine an item inactive, it's when this, basically the frequency of purchase versus actual purchase frequency. So what we did is that we take the current date minus the date of the last purchase. We divide it by the estimated purchase interval times by this millisecond to day conversion rate. If that ratio is less than 2, it means that we are purchasing more frequently or at the same frequency as we expected. If that result is greater than 2, it means we're in fact not purchasing as much as we expected, and that item becomes inactive. Is that right? Let's just check that first.
I think so.
Does that make sense to everyone? Can I move on, or do we need to look at this more?
Yep. For me, it does.
Okay. All right. So the sort that we wrote is basically based on the 3 possibilities. So based on what Golfo said in her chat, I rewrote the sort. So originally I wrote the sort based on, and now that I think about it, it cannot work properly because I was sorting it by whether it's an active or an active item first, and then sorting it by the interval. So now it's just sorted first by interval, and then we deal with the inactive items later. So the first condition is when 2 items, so A interval is less than B, then you return -1. And I also pushed this condition in. I don't know if it's a good idea to basically say that A has to be an active item, because A is a smaller one here. So if A is active, that means B also needs to be active. So if one of the items is inactive, I'm going to push it into this condition, into the like this last else condition. So the condition 3. Are you following?
I was trying to think about, in line 122.
Yeah.
I think that's actually pretty clever that you say that, if the estimated purchase interval is less than the A's estimated purchase interval is less than B's estimated purchase interval. So it means that both are active. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out if that is correct, and I guess it is.
Okay.
And the same. I mean, what does everybody else think?
What I'm missing, Dana, is that in the sort function, there is also a 0 when there are equal
0
elements.
is here. 0 is in this last one. So I have accounted for if A is less than B, and the second condition is if A is greater than B, and that returns 1, right, as per the sorting algorithm. And then I have the B here because B is a smaller one. So I'm checking for active versus inactive here. And then basically everything else I push into this. And that's what I wasn't sure about. And maybe that's where the bug is.
Yeah, but it's that nothing there is returning a 0 at any point.
Oh, wait.
Because compare names is also only 1 or -1.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I can change this, but I wonder if that would that make a difference? Because I don't have any cases where they're equal and it's still not working. I mean, yeah, I can Like,
No, but we're not going to solve it here. So
oh, we're not?
It's
okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay. So, but anyway, that's the logic at least. So then I push all the other conditions into this last else condition, and I'll make sure to write the 0 as well, so we don't miss anything. And the last condition, basically, I'm checking if both of them are inactive, then I can compare by names. So you run the alphabetical sort here. And then this, I don't know anymore, because this I'm saying, like, if it is not an active item, then I'm pushing it to the bottom of the list. And I'm not sure if this is working. That's the thing. Yeah, but everything seems to work alphabetically. The sort is working alphabetically, and the sort is working per date for the active items. It's just the inactive items we don't quite have a handle on right now, that they're stabilized in terms of how they're placed.
Yeah, you can try, instead of trying to put all the logic inside this function, you can sort a couple of times. Meaning first do the sorting on the active ones, and then do the sorting on the inactive. So you make sure that is only going to, inactives are going to go to the bottom without interfering with.
I thought about splitting the list into 2 and then sorting them separately.
You can try that. Maybe that will give you some hints about what can be happening.
Yeah, I will try that, and I'll do the 0 condition, and I'm also I think we're gonna go and try to just rework the list. Maybe there's like a stale, like a data problem, because when we push new items, and it seems to be sorting properly, so it's very weird.
David, so you mean they should do 2 passes, like one passes sort the active ones, the second passes sort the inactive ones, if I understand correctly?
Yeah,
so,
only for making more clear the logic and separating that, so they can work it. Maybe when the logic is clear, they can mix again, but for the sake of debugging, it can be a good idea to separate the logic.
Okay, yeah, we can try that. Do you want to talk about the labels again on your code?
No, it's not about the labels. I want to ask, like, in the acceptance criteria, that the items that is purchased one time, or the less purchase time too, so it's outdated, and then it will return red, right? But what if, like, if we just add an item, we add an item, so the purchase is 0 or 1, and that would be red immediately, or it's supposed to, like, following the soon?
I don't think so, but if you haven't added anything, the item, you don't know if you don't have an estimation, so you should stick with the thing you selected, so kind of soon, so it's going to be 7. For a new one, I would not put that inactive.
Not inactive, right? I mean, like, when you just add an item, it's supposed not to be red. It should be in color.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Then we'll change that as well, because right now we push everything to red immediately.
Yeah.
Cool.
Also, do you think talking about the colors, inactive and red, it's kind of.
Yeah, I actually already did that just now, but I haven't had time to push it, because we need this sort function here.
Okay.
And I'm afraid if it's like ruin everything. But I already figured it out, like how to have, like, when we create a new item, then it would be in color. But when it's like really inactive, then it will turn to red. I already figured it out. And me and Dana will work on them again later on.
Okay. Any questions?
You need to know that this is always one of the most, not complex, but weird.
Yeah, sort is like crazy.
I don't know if you have seen a conversation
even during my
today.
own course, we stumbled on this particular issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking that maybe, you know, there should be an example, a very clear example, a step-by-step example with that if you enter these 3 items with this, that you have to buy then, you know, so there's a scenario that you can test. I think this can be a good suggestion. So it's more clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think having like some testable cases that you can replicate would be great. Yeah.
I don't know if you have seen, there was a conversation this morning in the general channel. I think Alejandro was asking something similar because the code in the library that we are using for utilities, it changed. And that library is covered by tests that explains the behavior. So you can start that in there. I didn't know that had tests. So
sorry, is it
you
in general channel?
Yeah, it's in the, let me check. I saw that
because I'm not there. That's why I don't know.
I think it's in the mentor.
It's or maybe it was only in the mentor one. Oh yes, sorry.
You know, the funny thing is, once I deleted the 2 old inactive items, the source seems to be working. I mean, that's not what you want to happen to your code, right? Like it just magically works, but it seems to be working now. That it's, yeah, I don't know.
That's the other thing that can be happening, is that you are going through the function more than one time, maybe. Do you think that can be? Because you are not going to see it because it happened so fast that maybe you have something there.
I'll double check. Yeah, yeah, but that's what I think. Also having like a stable test suite of cases would be really good, because now it's also questionable how we're all testing it, and how like our interpretation of the acceptance criteria as well. So
yeah, our interpretation for like the for example, the color and also the area label is that if there is only one purchase or it's outdated. So if we add new items, like automatically it would be like less or 1, right?
Yeah,
so
then it's automatically
that's why
red.
in the first time it's all red.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, well, I just deleted the 2 really old items that are inactive, and the new inactive items seem to be at the bottom of the list. So I'll double check.
Also, in the code, can you share the code again? So I would like to know how is your approach to kind of debugging, not debugging, but knowing step by step what is that doing. So are you used to use console log or maybe
I console log everything.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, to make sure like everything is actually running, I would place like a console log here, for example, just a console log to see if A and B are coming through, or if it didn't come through here, I console logged it up here to make sure the A and B are coming through, and then also this is actually returning the right value, so that I would have like calculate A and B up here to make sure it's giving me true or false. Especially when Golfo said like, oh, that thing isn't running. I was like, okay, let's console log all the conditions to make sure they're coming through. So yeah, before when I was trying before the meeting, I console logged almost every method and every condition, so they're all coming through. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but I'm so fuzzy about some of this stuff.
As Golfo was suggesting, so if you have a test scenario and you do the console log, maybe you can follow the flow and see, oh, this is not sorting or whatever.
Yeah, will do. Okay.
I was the thing that I was mentioning was in the mentor channel, so I will share the link to the I will share in the chat, in the Slack later, the link for the test, so you can. So the calculate estimate has some testing that is documenting the way it should work. So maybe you can.
So the way that we set up our, for example, our last purchase variable, is that the right way? Like, is that the way everyone's done it? Like, hold on, let me just show you what I mean. Because this is what makes testing really cumbersome, is because we have this, sorry, let me just move this. Like you guys see here, oh God, hold on, window. Like when we test, we have to constantly go to last purchase, figure out, for example, what 1 day, 2 days is, take this number, subtract it by the number of days, get the estimated purchase interval, and then like reverse engineer, is the ratio correct? If the ratio is correct, as an active item, and then we can see whether it's sorting properly by the next purchase, not even next purchase, this one is estimated purchase interval. So it's like a really cumbersome testing process. Is this right? Should we be doing this, or should this be like a different value? Should it be like maybe a date value? Is that easier to test, or is this the right way to capture this data in this milliseconds?
It's cumbersome, yes. But for example, if you can have the scenario with everything already set up, so you can cut and paste, so it's not, you don't have to do the calculations in the.
Yeah, but that's all based on
that's
current
because if you are using, you can also, for example, instead of using date.new, you can hack a little bit for making the test less cumbersome. If you put if you are using date.new, it's the now's time, but you can change that and you can be testing on the same
yes,
day,
of course, yes.
so you don't have to be doing this all the time. So for testing, you can hack that and put a fixed date, so then you have the stop, the time is stopped, so it's going to be easier for testing.
Okay.
So in fact, in the testing libraries, what we do is normally that. So we set the context, and we put the data we want and all the outputs that we expect, because we know the dates. Okay.
You can probably write this automatically as well, right? You will go in the database, change it, and then test it again.
Yeah, you can do it also automatically. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that's better. All right. Thank you.
Okay, great. So we have finished with the issues. We should go with the next issues, or we should go to the retro first?
I'll just present the next issues quickly, which this week's issue, I mean, for the next 2 weeks, these are the most fun issues. Let me just find the issues and share my screen. Okay, awesome. So when everything is done with the functionality, for the next 2 weeks, as a user, I want the app to look professional and welcoming. So as a team, you will need to self-organize and around the lightweight design process to come up with a polished look and feel for your app. This will require you to make decisions together as a whole team, then implement your vision. You'll have to figure out which issues you want to work on and create the issues. So here's a basic design process. If you have any questions, you can always ask us for explanations. So you can first have to figure out the tone you're trying to convey. For example, it can be fun, clean, ironic, businesslike, and there's many more example words. You can create a mood board just to figure out what direction. There's some tools. And decide on the fundamental elements of your design, like typography, colors, and iconography. I'm sure you can have many ideas for this. And another choice is about CSS. You can either design it from scratch, or maybe use a preprocessor like SAS, for example. Or you can use a framework. Like there's some examples of frameworks like Tailwind, Material UI, etc. And if you want to use a framework, you have to think, for instance, for the quality of documentation, ease of integration, it should be built with accessibility in mind, and the activeness of the community. So, I mean, you can pick a very obscure one or a very new one, but if it's not well supported, you will have a difficult time trying to understand it. So maybe it's better to pick one of the more popular ones. And yeah, this will be a great exercise for communicating between you and figuring out which approach you're going to take and what issues you're going to create. So, yep, the next 2 weeks you're in charge. Yep, it's 2 weeks, not one. Okay, I lost a bit there. So, does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I have questions, but it's not based on the issue. So my question is based on the authentication issue I had David helped with. So I just want to ask, like, why the sudden change all of a sudden? Because initially, the way I access is when I try to push, I get a prompt to input my username and the personal access token that I've generated before. So all of a sudden, the change just happened. So I want to know why, like, what exactly happened. I don't know if you can break it down for me.
No, that's totally depending on the context. So it can be, so when you do that, there is the Git is saving your credentials in a system, in a cache or credential helper. And that can be different depending on what operating system you have. So in macOS it's different. There are a couple of different ways to do that. In Linux also in Windows it's a different thing. So it can be you updating some process updating some software. It's totally depending on your context. So also that with the method that I recommended, that's not going to happen again because the SSH is not something that is going to change in your computer because it's your identity or the identity of the computer. So that is not going to happen. But with HTTPS, I've seen a lot of problems, but very different ones. It can be as simple as some program changed the permissions on the file and the process cannot read, but it's not going to tell you the exact error. So it's going not only to tell you, okay, I don't know who you are, but not why. So it's something that happened in your computer. I cannot tell you why, what, but I can guess that it was the second time you did the personal access token. I think it was still reading from the old one. So it's a matter of checking in your special scenario in your computer, which credential helper are you using. But yeah, as I said, with SSH, it's not going to, you are not going to have that problem anymore.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I think it's something that comes with update of my system because I noticed that my saved password disappeared. Like, I can't access some things. Like before, if I want to access something, to just prompt the password and I'll be able to log in or go into directly to the website without inputting my password because I've saved it already. So I noticed I was not seeing those saved password anymore. So I think it's due to update or something with my computer. Yeah, thank you.
Some update that.
Okay, thank you. So if anybody doesn't have any more questions, we can move on to the retros hosted by David.
Okay, so as always, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to share this in the Slack. This is the test cases for the calculate estimate that explains how is it working or how it should work. Okay, so I will share that later. So yeah, we have here, no, not here, projects. Retro for today. So we will have 10 minutes from now for you to start adding things to the columns, and we will be back to have our retro. So 10 minutes from now. Okay, 1 minute to go. If anyone needs more time, just let me know. Okay, thumbs up. Anyone needs more time? Nope. Okay, so let's start. We will start with the appreciation and shutouts. So I'm going to go first. So yeah, difficult for me to add something new. So for this week, thanks also for sharing actionable resources for learning listening patterns. So thanks for that. I didn't knew about those and are super cool. So thanks. Dana.
Yes, so of course, the biggest thank you is to my partner, AU, this week, who was really great throughout the whole week. I think we talked on Slack and on video almost every day. We worked throughout the week really evenly, even with a very tricky issue. We managed to get most of it done, I think. So that was really great. And thank you for Chimaka for holding office hours. That was really great. And for Golfo for doing the code review, and for both of you and Golfo for answering questions on Slack throughout the week. It's been a really good week.
Thank you. So I think this is you, Golfo.
Yep. So thanks to everybody. I have fun talking to you over Slack and in the weekly syncs, and especially my office hours. And congrats to the team for their stellar work. And special thanks to the mentor for sharing useful resources, like Chamaka shared the ones about being paid to write, and David about contributing to open source. Those were really great resources.
This is super long.
Yeah, thank you to Dana for our co-working this week, and we managed to break tasks and support each other. And also to Fatima for jumping in a call with me and Dana, and we talked about both our issues, ours and your team issues. And also thank you, Chiamaka, for the fun open office. I know I can talk a lot when it's about writing blog and technology that I'm curious about. And most of all, thank you to all team and mentors for jumping in and helping us out.
Okay, so yeah, Fatima.
Yeah, shout out to all the team members and mentors. You all made it easy. When I was having issue, David was able to come in, and Dana to give ideas on how to work on our issue. So thanks to everyone.
Now, Chiamaka's turn.
All right. I'd say shout out to the whole team. As usual, we've all put in our best, and it's been a worthwhile journey, and our app is really taking shape. I'm super proud of what we've achieved. So thank you to everyone.
Edema, that's yours.
All right. So yeah, especially thankful to everyone in the team. So, and most especially Fatima. So I think she was always there. Like this particular week, I had a lot of other things on my desk too. So, but she was always there, getting to know how things are going. So we were able to, like, at least move our issue to completion, and like she was always there. So I'm especially thankful to Fatima and every other team member, including Dana and every other person that rendered one assistance for another this particular week. So I'm grateful.
Okay, so let's move to what went well this week. So you are you are the first one also, Adama.
Yeah, what went well? Yeah, still in that line. So every member of the team, we're actually on track. They are ready to offer assistance at any given point that they were called on or that it was necessary. So I think that was a very good improvement. Also, we were able to communicate more seamlessly and in completing the task. So I think that was a good improvement for everyone.
Yeah, this is mine. This week Slack has been super noisy. A lot of communication and sharing. I guess that both asynchronously and also synchronously. So great job, everyone. So keep it this way. Ayu.
We communicate more with each other this week, not only for our own issues, but also other teams' issues.
Yeah, okay. Lena.
Yeah, so I think everybody knew what everyone else was doing and any issues they're having throughout the week. So I think communication was good, and I think we asked questions when questions arose, and I think in that respect, the communication went really well this week.
Great. So Chamaka.
I'm next. Fatima.
Yep, David, you skipped Fatima.
Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So team coordination and communication, even outside the individual group, went well. So we were able to communicate across individual groups. So that was fab.
Now it's their turn.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, still on communication. I think we improved a lot when it comes to communication as a team. And also the user stories were implemented except for the little physics remaining in with issue 12. So yeah.
Okay, the team is doing some fine work and staying on track. The workflow improved even more. The previous weeks, with the exception of issue 12, which is always a tricky one. And daylight saving threw our timing off a bit, but we coordinated and worked around that. So I was glad that we could find a solution, and also have a typo there. Through from throw and not that one. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so thank you, everyone. Let's move to what keep us from making progress. Maybe we should change that title, because nothing was keeping us from making progress. Maybe impeding moving faster. Title is, I don't like that. So yeah, Fatima, first one is yours.
Yeah. What we could do better for the next sprint is just that we should keep the energy and flow for the next sprint. Did you get that?
Yeah. What's that?
Okay.
What's a big noise? Golfo.
Okay, thank you. Issue 12 could be explained in a better way. This was either, I don't know, we could have checked before in the previous weeks and try to make it a bit better and explain it better. Or I don't know, maybe for the next time we can do some changes. So since the next item is also mine, I'll talk about the action items. That issue 12 should have a more standardized way for testing. For instance, there could be standard data that we can import in the database, so we don't have to change dates all the time. I mean, when Dana and David, you were talking about these dates, I'm just writing what you said, that there's some standard data. Okay.
Yeah, it can be super helpful. Also, I think part of the hassle, maybe it's because there has been some changes in the templates from between cohorts. There was a change in the name of the variables if you check the repository where the calculate estimate is. So there have been some changes there. Maybe we should do that, as Jorge said. Standardize and explain it better. But also, do you know that maybe this is also a real test of what normally happens in the real work scenario? So
yeah,
I don't think I have mixed feelings about this. So maybe we should keep it this way, because it's going to put you through some real things that are going to happen in the work. So I don't know. I don't have a strong opinion, but yeah, mixed feelings about this.
Yeah, because sometimes in real work situations, some issues are very vague and not explained well. So maybe it's a good simulation. Okay, so if we don't have anything else to add, our weekly sync is finished. This week, David will be having office hours and Chamako will be doing code reviews. By the way, Dana and what about the sorting? Do you want to try it a bit yourselves? Do you want to stay in the weekly sync so we can take a look at it?
I think I has some new code for the colors that she's going to change first. And then we're probably going to start off with a new list and just push new items in, see what happens after all the changes we made. And yeah, and I think if we still have a problem with the sort, we'll let you guys know.
Okay, so you'll look at it, your team will look at it and just let us know, okay?
Yeah, we'll let everyone know, right?
Okay,
yeah.
So thank you very much. I'll be uploading, I don't know if you checked, I've uploaded some of our weekly syncs to YouTube. I'll try to upload the rest of them. So I'll try to do that this week. Okay, thank you very much.
Great.
And, have a nice night and a nice week.
Thank you.
You too.
Thank you.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.